Hi. You know, all the times I knew this would happen. All the way when we were driving to come to Georgetown, I had two very contradictory feelings. One was a feeling of irretrievable loss and sadness, and the other one, an amazing sense of joyousness, because Hormoz was always, I mean, I cannot think of Hormoz and not think of his being joyous. And I wanted to share with you when I first met him, and that sort of framed our relationship for the rest of the time. Dr. Abbas Milani, who is a good colleague and friend of Hormoz, as you know it, he invited us. This thing is staring me in the eye. I'm going to bring it down. I can do that at least here. Okay. Dr. Abbas Milani invited my husband Bijan and I to go to Dr. Hekmat's house to do what? To watch Woody Allen. I don't remember which. Do you remember which Woody Allen, Abbas? No. I don't remember which Woody Allen. It really bothers me. I was going to pick up my favorite Woody Allen film and just lie to you all and say that is what it was. But anyway, I don't remember it. But I remember we started our relationship on very strong grounds on Woody Allen. And I wanted to begin my talk with a celebration of Hormoz's sense of humor, which went to what everybody talked about his humaneness. They both went together. His sense of humor bordered on mischief. I mean, you know, he looked very calm, and the way he spoke very low. I almost had to lean towards him to understand what he says. And he was full of irony. But that calmness was rooted in passion. There was such passion in Hormoz for doing the right thing, and such outrage at the injustices of the world, as speaker after speaker today has said. In Danishgah Tehran, I discovered the other side of Hormoz. I was at the Faculty of Literature and Foreign Languages, and Hormoz was at the Faculty of Law and Political Science. And these two faculties were called by the Committee for Cultural Revolution. At that time, you remember they closed down the universities. They started to purge the professors and the students and change the curriculum. And three people, one of them I remember was Abdul Karim Soroush, Shariat Madari, and Jalaluddin Farsi. These three had come to talk to our faculties about this amazing change they were imposing upon us. And the professors there were very angry, and that meeting really turned against the three persons who came there. And Hormoz got up and told him, why do you think of all the millions of people in this country, you three have the right and the qualification That side of him was, his humor was rooted in that side of him. I'm reminded of a great playwright, a great activist for human rights, and later the president of the Czech Republic, Václav Havel, who mentions the fact that we should live in truth. در درون حقیقت زندگی کنیم. And that was Hormoz. He lived in truth, and he lived for truth. And that is where his sense of humor came about. For him, living in truth led to search for justice. These two went together. عدالت and حقیقت for Hormoz were the main important things in his life. And this was not political. It was not political, it was existential. Hormoz, as a believer in human rights and as a political activist, as a teacher, as the editor-in-chief of Iran Name, as a writer, as a human being, believed in truth and revealed the truth. And that is what made someone like Hormoz dangerous. It was because all his life he fought against totalitarian mindset, and totalitarianism is based on lies. The thing that they are most afraid of is truth. And so Hormoz lived in truth and lived for justice. I remember a meeting we had together. I was giving Iran Name an article of mine on Sadiq Hedayat's Bufekur. And Hormoz and I, you know, the way I felt about him when we became friends after we migrated to America, every time I met him, especially when the two of us would go for coffee or ice cream or something like that, I felt like two mischievous kids who are going to be talking about things that excites them and makes them conspiratorial almost. And I remember we went on the excuse of talking about Bufekur, we went to a coffee shop and we began with Bufekur. Then we moved into Iran during Hedayat's time. From there, we moved to Iran now. From there, we moved to the absurdity of life under the Islamic Republic. He reminded me of a quotation from another colleague, Dr. Reza Bateni, who said, dealing with the Islamic Republic is like playing chess with a monkey. In the middle of the game, the monkey picks up your queen and swallows it. And then what are you gonna do? And we talked, I told him how while I was in Iran, we would watch Marx Brothers. And he was one of the very few people to whom I could talk about Marx Brothers. I could talk about Marx Brothers and Hannah Arendt together. That was where Woody Allen met Hannah Arendt and Václav Havel. And so his humor and irony was rooted in this search for truth. And I keep thinking about his legacy. And I reached the end of my talk, and I keep thinking, I can't end. This guy is talking about Hormoz. I don't want any full stops. He is going to live not just in our memories, but in the memory of Iranian history. He's going to live there forever. And all he wants from us, I was thinking memory is so important as a guardian of our lives. It is conclusive evidence that we have lived. And oblivion brings despair. For as long as we have our memory, we are going to be okay, and we're going to be living in light and in truth. Wherever you are, Hormoz, I know you're doing something weird, and this is the kind of meeting where a glass of water is turned to wine. So I drink to you, buddy. Thank you.